Guys, welcome back to the Vasudha Madaan Show. And today we have with us the fearless leader, Saurabh Bhatia. Today we are here at this episode to harness the extraordinary journey Saurabh had as the leader. And would you like to learn more about his leadership journey? All right, to start with, let me tell you a little bit about Saurabh. Saurabh is an advisor consultant and he runs his own mystery shopping enterprise. That's not enough. He's a tea enthusiast and runs a tea manufacturing unit as well. And we're gonna hear a lot of interesting stuff about both his enterprise from him. It's like one hell of a journey, guys. So are you all ready to have a great and an exciting journey with Saurabh Bhatia, his journey to the extraordinary leadership? Let's get going then. Welcome, Saurabh. Welcome to the Vasudha Madaan Show.
Thank you, Vasudha. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And I am equally excited to be on the show. Let's start.
Wow. So, Saurabh, before we get going, I would love for you to share with the audience and, of course, with me also, the journey you've had, whether personal or professional, because I believe somewhere professional and personal are intertwined. So, how it has brought you where you are today?
So it has been a long journey, long 44 years of journey that I would say. And every minute of it has helped in shaping what I am now. Be it my education, be it the places that I have studied, be it where I have worked, be it with the leaders that I have been, under the mentorship of. Every single person that has touched or entered my life, that they have shaped me in the way that I am. So, education wise, I did my schooling from a couple of places and then did my bachelor's in commerce, master's in IT, and pursuing PhD in retail management. I did my MBA in retail management. And so that was my education. And the currently I am handling LeCapri Market Research. That is solely into mystery shopping services. And we are one of the top 10 companies in India who offer mystery shopping. So
I believe a
that
lot of
has been my journey. Yeah,
uh, there are a lot of people who wouldn't know much about mystery shopping. Like when we
that
met,
is right.
yeah, I didn't know what exactly mystery shopping is. Would you love to tell our audience what exactly mystery shopping is?
Well, mystery shopping per se is actually evaluating any companies or any individuals. When I say individuals, it means a standalone store. Any companies SOPs on the front line. So when I say, and it can be done on any or most of the retail businesses, be it a cinema, be it a petrol pump, be it a school, be it a retail store, a bank, or whatever you may think of, wherever the end user is a human being, mystery shopping comes into picture. It actually helps evaluate the behavior of the sales staff or of the frontliners during the transaction. When I say during the transaction, whenever a sale is happening, whenever a transaction is happening, sale of product or services is happening during the transaction. So we call it a dure transaction measure. It is the only preemptive measure or the scale which can help evaluate the frontliners. Most of the other indexes like CSAT, VOC, they all come into picture, or for that matter, even NPS, I'm sorry. They come into picture once the sale has been completed, right? So you can touch base with only the customers who have purchased or, you know, used your services. This is the only tool which helps evaluating the experience of a potential buyer, whether it's a potential buyer or it's an actual buyer during that transaction. So how it works is
Sure.
we send mystery shoppers
Okay.
who act as a pseudo shopper, as a regular shopper, and they merge with the crowd. They would go browse the store and observe things basis on the SOPs that have been laid down by the company, for as basic as how they were greeted, how the store was set up, how their needs were analyzed, and how was the product mapped to their needs, and eventually how the sales was done, and how they were, there were certain other parameters like the upselling, cross-selling, and their product knowledge is also mapped. So this helps the companies to improvise their standards, and the obviously the at the end improvise their sales. So that is
Basically,
how mystery shopping works.
so basically, people enjoy shopping experience. Yeah.
It is kind of a shopping experience, and it is driven
Evaluating
more.
it, if I can put it in a very simple, short
Yes,
way.
it
Yeah.
is. It is a direct derivative of the any organization's view of looking at how the product is selling or moving at the ground level, or how
Wow.
their staff should behave during
Hmm.
that transaction, during the sales. What is
Yeah.
expected out of the staff?
And I believe that this knowledge can actually be very effective in scaling, and if especially if yours is a
Absolutely.
very, yeah, if yours is a very UX UI based kind of work, if it's a very customer experience based kind of enterprise.
Yes, it is. It is totally customer experience based work, and
Right.
it can help people like the startups, the investors, especially the angel investors who
Ah,
invest into companies,
all
and they
right.
do not know how the companies are. See, why
Exactly.
this?
Yes, exactly. Because everything is on papers, right?
That is right. They
You
do not know what
actually
is
figure
happening on
out
the
the
ground.
truth. You can actually figure out the truth.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that is how it helps.
I hope investors are listening to this. They should.
I am sure I would love if
Yes.
they are listening. Yes,
Yes.
show me the
Sure.
money.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So, sort of, this sounds like this to me. This sounds like something is a very crafty kind of thing, because I'm sure you need to craft exactly what this mystery shopper is gonna do when he
That's
visits
right.
your client's store or the facility, right? So, आपको I can feel from what I am listening that you need to craft every step. जाना है तो
That's right,
कैसे
Vasudha.
जाना है, क्या करना है,
Absolutely.
क्या बात करनी है, right? So, I mean, after doing all this, it sounds to me it sounds something which is like a tightrope walk, maybe. So, what do you find most challenging about your job, about your task as a mystery shopper?
See, the toughest part is that we are aligned with, or we have to deal with multiple businesses, which are
Hmm.
various domains. We have
Hmm.
clients like banks on the one hand, we have clients like retail shops on the other hand, then we have schools, then we have, retail stores, like I said, they are apparel, non-apparel, footwear, hotels, QSRs. So understanding each and every business is the most challenging thing. So, for example, right now we are working on a hotel, uh, a chain of hotels. We are going to design questionnaire. So, trust me, Vasudha, hotels have got the most elaborate SOPs. Going through a 200 pager book, which serves as a manual, which details, which has all the nitty-gritties of the hotel, how the linen is to be as basic as how the linen is placed, how
You're
the
right.
cleanliness, how
Hotels,
frequently.
true. Hotels
Yes,
are the most user, yeah, customer experience, most intense, I would
absolutely.
the most
Right.
intense customer experience based industry. Wo,
That's right.
I think it's the only key to the customer's heart, especially when it comes to hotel industry.
That's right. So right from the reservation till the checkout, the entire
Exactly.
experience. So as an the biggest challenge that we have, or the and at the same time, Vasudha, that's the most interesting part of this business, I would say, or this exercise, that you get to learn about almost every business that you're dealing with. So now you
Agreed.
know how the banks deal, you know how the hotels deal, you know how the QSRs deal. So understanding all those parameters and then dividing and crafting them into a meaningful questionnaire and a meaningful journey,
Hmm.
which the mystery shopper is going to take, and again at the same time uh, share their experience. So that is quite imperative, and that's very challenging, I would say.
Very interesting, and I'm sure it is challenging. And all the best.
Thank you, Vasudha.
Okay, so tell me, coming finally to the leadership, right? And finally coming to digging the leader in you for our audience today. And yes, I know for me as well. So tell me, Saurabh, what does leadership mean to you? What does it mean to you?
To me, leadership is letting your teammates learn the way they should be. So
Right.
I have learned it from my mentor, I would say, and he has helped me to a great extent, shape the way I look at things, after working under him. So I take leadership as letting my team do what they want in a way that they are comfortable in.
Okay.
being there being there for them when they require, being a guiding force to them whenever they require, but letting them experiment the way they want to. That is
Okay.
where they would fail, learn, and that would help them grow, understand the process, or understand their job responsibility and the world in a better manner. So
Okay.
I still remember when I was working with one of the organizations that I worked with. I had a team of close to 100 people. And then my direct reportees, they used to come to me in the initial level for every small thing. And I used to tell them, come to me जब आग लग जाए. उससे पहले मेरे पास मत आना.
But you saying
So,
this when we had met also, number
yes,
one rule of leadership, I'll just quote you. I wrote it. Huh? Maybe you
yeah,
forgot. You'd said number one rule of leadership, inform only if the forest is on fire.
yes, absolutely. Only if the forest
And
on
I
fire is on
loved
fire,
that.
then come to me.
I loved that. Okay.
And
So
and trust
explain
me,
this a little, explain this a little more and share a little bit about that experience also.
right. So how it works is everyone is capable of understanding what is right, what is wrong, and everyone is capable of handling the situation. It is just that
I think
most of the
that's,
times we need
you
a
know what?
validation.
You know what, sort of what you just said, everyone is capable of understanding what is right, what is wrong. I think that is your belief as a leader. I think that is your quintessential uh, thing that you think everybody
Goes
knows, that
without
you're
saying.
giving so everyone so much. It's
Absolutely.
like I am like really touched to see what you just said. What I can see from what you're saying is, मुझे जो सुनाई दे रहा है, मेरे को ये सुनाई दे रहा है that you are saying that you give your trust to everyone to earn and build on them first time.
That's
So
right.
I think as a leader, that's beautiful, because today I see, I don't see many leaders. I see more bosses. So people who are telling what is to be done and how it is to be done all the time. So you are giving them that space, that leverage in the beginning itself, when you say that you believe that they know what is right and what is wrong and what is to be done.
Absolutely.
Now that's a
And
great quality.
that's right. And the right and wrong. can be defined in the rule books of the organization. That is fine.
True.
One is moral right and wrong, another is what the rule book of the organization says. Make them aware of what the most important part in any organization is, larger organizations, that the departments do not talk to each other. They are sitting in their silos, because of which the employees are not aware about the rights and wrongs, about the do's and don'ts, and about their own rights at times. Imagine a boss, as you said, not a leader, a boss telling its team members, telling their team members, all right, be my guest, you are free to resign if you don't want to work as the way I want.
Oh,
Is that a leadership? That is not a
absolutely
leadership.
not. If I be
So
allowed to say, that sucks.
that sucks. And that's toxic. Imagine the
Exactly.
morale of the team who's working under the person.
Yes.
How would they come back home, and
Yes.
what their mental status would be? So
Absolutely.
coming back to what I was saying is that,
Hmm. What you've
I
touched
used to
upon,
tell my people,
what you've touched
yeah,
upon is something very deep.
and it's very relevant in the current status in the
Ab-
corporates,
Absolutely.
because we are not letting the people learn the way they should learn. Actually, we are not
Right.
letting that happen.
Right.
So what I used to do different was, I used to tell my team, these are the rules, these are what we have to do. By rules, I mean to say the processes what we have to follow, right? And then give them free hand to talk to the people, pull strings where they want to. And it is not that I wasn't on top of what they were doing. I was always observing what they were doing, and I always used to get feedback from the people whom they were interacting with, and
Okay.
using that in a very constructive manner to build their personality.
Okay. That sounds
So, for
interesting.
example, yes,
Yeah.
for example,
How
a
do you do
client
that?
would,
Yes.
okay, so for example, a team member is dealing directly with a client, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And the client has some issues.
Hmm.
I would handle them in my way. And then
Hmm.
at the same time, take the feedback about my team member, that
Hmm.
where did he lack? Or is he doing good?
Hmm.
Obviously, the clients where you have built your rapport, where you have a better understanding of the client, they would share their experience. Then you use those the areas where the team member is lacking. For example, communication, or for example, being a little, uh, you know, maybe at times little rude with the client, or maybe little
Yes.
upfront with the client, which the client might not like. So that then that becomes a way of grooming, the base
That
of grooming my team, who has who
that
is
builds
my
the,
responsibility end of the day.
that builds their confidence in their leader
Yes.
also.
So like I said, we all know how to work. It is just that a we lack confidence. If not, then we are in the search of a validation. What I'm going to do, is it right? Why would I run to my boss? Sir,
Hmm.
मैं ये करने लगा हूँ, क्या ठीक है?
Hmm. So what
Right?
do
So
you
that's a
do?
validation.
Saurabh, what do you do when they come to you for the validation?
So at times they used to, there were instances where I need to correct them, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And or most of the times they would see, when you set these people free, when you give them free hand,
Hmm.
chances are very less that they will take a wrong decision.
Yeah.
It's I haven't seen cases where they took wrong decisions,
Amazing.
because because when you give them responsibility, when you give them free hand, the person gets, it's equally imperative that you tell them that you have this accountability, this response, you build in a sense of accountability
Yeah.
and ownership.
Uh,
So any employee, any person who is in your team, or for that matter in your organization, the moment he or she has that ownership instinct, they would never go wrong. Why Tata is the way it is?
yes. Tell us. Why?
I haven't heard of anyone leaving Tata.
That's true.
Well,
That's true.
they build the person, the person.
Hmm. Right. And I think that's what separates a leader from the boss.
Yeah,
Deep.
that's very essential, right? You know,
Deep.
you need to have faith in your team as well.
True. This was deep. Yeah. Right. Okay, great. So, Saurabh, if I ask you, how have been your personal experiences? So, this is the approach you have developed towards leadership, right? But how have your own personal experiences ultimately helped you develop this approach to leadership? What exactly did you go through which makes you believe in all these things?
So in during my early days when I started working, I had this. So I was working with again a multinational company. That is where I started, and it was more of a KPO, not BPO, but KPO.
All
So
right.
one of my team leads or the SMEs, I saw him working, and he used to give us free hand. That is where I started getting this way of handling the team. So when
Okay.
I joined, I was a fresher. He identified, he saw that, you know, I was doing good in the process. He picked me up within 3 months and asked me to train the newbies, the people who joined after me. I wasn't too sure. I had never trained. I had never trained till that
Okay.
time. In a corporate structure, I was teaching earlier. I mean, I have trained as a teacher per se for some time, but that was a totally different thing. So then he picked me up, and the moment he developed that confidence in me, and that he kept on developing, you know, uh, throughout the time that I was there with him. So that is what was my stepping stone. That was my building block, I would say, which set this quality in me,
Okay.
and that has helped me. Yes, and after that, later towards the end of my corporate journey, because now I am not into corporates. Towards the end of my corporate journey, the mentor that whom I referred to, he he gave me that kind of confidence. He made me work in a way. I was dealing with much senior people who were senior in age, tenure, rank, whatever you may think of, and I was to deal with them. That was my role, that I had to deal with them, and
Okay.
that is where that
Can I
dip
say
in
you had to
confidence
lead
comes.
them? Can I say you had to lead them?
Uh, to an extent, not
Okay.
lead them directly, but their work. So one of their responsibilities or their KRAs was aligned to me in a dotted line. So I was responsible for that area in their KRAs. If they
Okay.
work, my department is successful. If they do not work, if that doesn't happen, we have around 2 lakh people who are dissatisfied. That was
Wow.
the that was the
That's
magnum of.
serious. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a
So
catch
we
22.
absolutely. So then you have people who are much senior to you, much senior to you, who have served the nation. So they were from the army background, and you know how disciplined they are.
And tough
Imagine telling
as
a
well.
person,
Tough as
yes,
well at times.
decorated as well, tough, decorated, and they know what they are doing.
True.
So getting your
Seasoned
work
people.
done, making your space, yes, making your place, making your department work function, a department which is newly set up, which was never in
Hmm.
existence before earlier in the organization.
Hmm.
That was the toughest part. And that is where my mentor he helped. He threw me in the sea,
All right.
rather an ocean, not even sea. It was an
All
ocean.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
So he threw
So, did you
me.
swim?
And
Did you swim?
yes. I would go to him. So like I said, I would go to him for validation. All right, this is what I think I should do. And he would
Hmm.
say, if I was wrong, he would say no. make it little, he would keep on tweaking my decisions, and then he
Hmm.
would guide me as to, yeah, this is how you should be doing. And yes, as a result, my complete personality changed.
Wow.
The ideology changes, the way you look at things, that changes when you have a good mentor.
You know what, Saurabh? I read it somewhere. To grow, you don't need leaders in your life. What you need is the mentor. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, someone who believes in you and can help you see what you are not seeing about yourself.
Absolutely. Just a couple of days back, I was talking to my mentor, and I told him, that. So we were just chit-chatting. He said, Saurabh, when you were under my direct reporting, so people used to tell me that you are being too harsh on him. You are being too harsh on him. And I used to tell them, so he used to reply that, no, this is what I know, what he has got the metal. This is what would make him what he should be. So it is very, again, it is imperative to understand and to know, the leader would know, the mentor would know the weaknesses and strengths of the team member. So that is very important for any leader. When you say leader differentiated from a boss, right? A leader would know each and every team member's strengths, weaknesses, and even a boss knows that. But a boss does not, you know, uh, I would say, does not sharpen those skills.
Right.
Leaders do that.
Yeah. There's another category. I mean, there are bosses, there are leaders, and then there are mentors.
Mentors, absolutely. A mentor would do
I'm very
whatever it
lucky
may be.
few, very lucky
Yes,
few find their mentors.
that's right.
You've been the one.
I have been blessed one.
on that
Yes,
note,
absolutely.
on that note, I want to ask you a question. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So, would you like to talk about this mentor a little bit more? I mean, would you like to name them and share some incident per se?
So, not one, but many incidents. So, his name is Captain Shailesh Tiwari.
Hmm.
He, so he used to head, I mean, at that point in time, he was heading HR of Southeast Asia when I was
Hmm.
under his direct reporting. And
Hmm.
so he, just one incident that I would like to highlight here, which no one does these days. We are so
Please.
much into the technologies, so much into technologies, we cannot look beyond our laptops and not beyond our cell phones.
Right.
Though it was some 10, 12 years back, but then when I joined first day, he told me, he gave me a couple of options. Sort of choose your laptop. So obviously I went through and I chose what I wanted. Then he said, okay, it's going to take 4, 5 days, maybe a week's time. Pick up a ream of papers, and there's a A4 sheets. Whatever you have to do, you have to design everything and get me on that piece of paper. Draw whatever you have to do, whatever pointers you have to design, or whatever things you have to note down. Do them on that piece of paper and bring it to me. I was like, sir, computer ki aadat hai. Said, then uh, him being him, uh, so he is, since he was from services background, and he said, Saurabh, आर्मी में हम मिट्टी पे काम किया करते थे, तुम्हारे पास तो फिर कागज है. So, and that, stayed with me forever. We are too much into technology.
This is too profound. This is too
Yes,
profound.
we,
Yeah,
we don't realize what we have got, and we get so
absolutely.
much addicted to it that we're so much into our comfort zone.
Yeah, we start
But the
taking things for
bestest of
granted.
the, absolutely, we start taking things for granted. And the
Hmm.
bestest of the creativity would come when you are with the nature, when you are outside this technology, this technical world.
I think that's a very very well said thing, and something which especially आज I mean मुझे तो लगता है why just young generation, I think everybody needs to hear this. We are too clamped up into technology and
Absolutely.
is actually taking all our creative juices off our brain,
All
body,
the
heart.
creativity, all the time, all the relationships, whatever you may think of, it's
True,
taking away.
true, true. Yes.
And Vasudha, we come from a generation, uh, being of the same age, we come from a generation where we have seen this transition happening. We have seen the life, we have seen the world where there were no telephones at home. When we were growing up, when TVs had just started coming, right? To a place where, to a world now where we have around 10 cell phones in a house, right? So that is from a no television, from a no telephone to 10 cell phones in a house. We have seen that journey. This generation, which has now, which is born with not, I won't say born with a silver spoon. They are born with technology, right? So we are lucky that we still have that kind of creativity. We are still connected with the nature.
True, true. Saurabh, I see you are so deeply aware of your surroundings and of self also. How do you think this particular thing has helped you become the leader, the kind of leader with this kind of mindset today?
See, obviously, unless you are self-aware, unless you know what is within you, you would not have a direction. It becomes very, very important to be aware and to know where you have to go, right? That's where, and see, uh, I have been driven by helping people. That's my, so to say, mantra, helping people. Whether we call it a leadership trait, whether we call it a management skill, whether we call it a people skill, whatever, it's helping. If someone is there, yes. So it is about helping people through whatever your knowledge is, whatever your belief is, and your understanding is. Of course, with experience, you have so much uh, in your brain, in your mind. Your awareness you keep on getting aware every single moment. So channelize that in helping others.
So are you saying that this particular that awareness of self and your surroundings has helped you ace your skills as management or as people's person? Are you saying that?
Absolutely, because the more you interact with people, you pick up things which
Hmm.
adds on to your awareness, and
Hmm.
every moment then you keep on thinking where you can implement that.
Right.
So it's a complete cycle, I would say. You pick up things, you grow, and then you deliver.
Right. Right. Okay, Saurabh, tell me something. See, leadership is not all about uh, l- mending people or lending them a ear or tweaking what they are thinking. I think leadership is also a lot about making tough decisions, which we often don't talk about these days.
Absolutely, I never
And
talk
I,
about that.
yeah, and I feel we need to have a lot of empathy even with the leaders, because
Yeah, right.
it's not an easy call for them as well. Just because koi leader hai doesn't mean they don't have a heart, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so I do want to ask you. So I mean, has there been a time when you had to make a tough decision, which you feel even tested your skills as leader, and even you felt being tested as human? So how did you handle that particular whole thing?
It's an it's been almost what 15, 16 years to this incident, and I still remember it. Uh,
Wow. So it has left
yes,
that kind of a mark on
yes,
your
absolutely,
memory,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely,
Okay, let's
absolutely,
hear
and
it.
it was not an easy decision.
Uh-huh.
I had to you know relieve two people of their duties who were
Hmm.
under my direct reporting. So that was a
Hmm.
very tough decision to take,
Hmm.
and and I had at least a week's sleepless nights after taking that decision. I had to take this decision because I mean I had to take that decision because it was to yeah. Yes. So it was imperative for the organization. It was required to set an example because the kind of so whatever was the incident, I do not want to bring that incident into light. So of course, and just few months back, I think there was this CEO who had to fire 300 people from his organization. I could relate. I could relate. It's not a simple decision. It's not a simple decision.
Talk about this, uh, because this is a topic which is very close to my heart, and I mean, I have often had leaders in conversation actually sharing with me that Vasudha, it's been 2 months. मुझे ऐसे लग रहा है that I'm going into depression. What to do? I had to fire these people. I mean, please, what do leaders go through? Share with the audience here, because हम लोग सोचते हैं that they are only the tough people, but no, they are the
No,
people
it's very
with the
tough.
heart. They have,
It's
but
very
they
tough.
are people, but they are still the people with the heart, and yet tough. So please bring that side
So
out
it's
today.
it's very simple. It's very simple. A parent would scold his or her child,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And be harsh with them at times, right?
Right,
And it is not that they are liking it,
right.
right? It is not that they are liking it as a parent, but they're doing it for the betterment of the child.
Okay.
Similarly, if I was to cast a simile between leadership and a parent, I think it's similar.
Hmm.
A leader would have to take that decision which is good for the organization as well as for the individual.
Hmm.
Now, imagine had I not taken that decision,
Hmm.
that was based on the decision was an outcome of their behavior. Okay.
Absolutely. That's something we forget.
So then had I not taken that call,
Hmm.
they would continue doing what they were doing.
Right.
After that, that would serve as, not only good for the organization, but also as a building block to those people, to them in terms of their uh, behavior, their understanding, their responsibility, their personality.
Eventually.
That's right. So it's at the same time, it's not a simple decision. It's very tough. Certain decisions are very tough. And yes, you have to make up your mind how you're going to say it. You have to, yes, like you said, you have to look tough, but then you also have a heart. So yes, then you don't know how to handle at times, but then you know that when you know what you're doing is right, right? So I was watching this series just 2 days back, and there is a there is a dialogue. जब मालूम हो कि आप सही कर रहे हो ना तो हो जाता है.
Wow.
So that is how it is. When you know what you're doing is right and you don't have any choice, then it's easy.
We have to actually tell ourselves that it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. and
That's right.
move forward and help others also move forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So, sort of, okay. So, how do you keep learning as a leader? I mean, क्या करते हो आप so that you keep on uh, amping your game? What do you do? What
Uh,
any particular practice or any particular
Observe
habit?
people,
Or, okay, or maybe
interact
कोई
with people,
okay, okay,
interact. Yes, interact with people. The more I interact with people, the more I learn.
all right.
That's my way of learning
So,
and observing.
would you
I do
shed
not
little
watch
light?
news.
Lovely.
I do
Nor
not
do
watch
I.
news
Nor do I.
because that is the biggest negativity, source of negativity I think I can ever see. So
Okay. All right.
instead, I would. So I'm aware of what is happening in the surroundings, in the
Hmm.
as a current affairs, but watching news per se, I do not do that.
Hmm. Get it.
Yes. So yes, talking to people, learning about what is of my interest. That is something I always keep on doing. For
Right.
example, I am a tea enthusiast, like you said. So I'm always when I'm free, I am learning tea.
Okay. Tell me, what are you learning about tea these days? Let's talk about your enthusiasm for tea. What all are you doing under the umbrella of this enthusiasm? I love making good tea. So I would love to hear that.
So tea, as we know, is not what it is. It
All
is,
right.
yeah,
Then
it
what
is.
is it? Then what is
It
it?
used to be ideally, it is a medicine. It has got all the medicinal properties. So we have Indianized tea in a way that, that we drink it without any reason.
For us, chai is an emotion.
It is an emotion, goes without saying. It is
Yes.
an emotion. We
Saurabh,
are connected
you
to it.
absolutely. सौरभ, आप हमको कोई ना कोई अच्छी सी दो लाइनें भी सुनाने वाले हो, because I know your love for tea is so big that you can actually romance tea. Fine, please share
So,
something
so
interesting.
the botanical name of tea leaf is Camellia sinensis. So
Hmm.
it's CAMSIN, the three, if you take out the initials,
Chem
Camellia
Camellia sinensis. Am I right?
sinensis. So
Yay?
that's right. So
Okay.
it becomes comes in.
अरे वाह!
So that's what I see
अरे
tea
वाह!
as. That's
Okay.
yeah. So like
See, guys,
चाय से
can you see
मोहब्बत
the
यूं ही नहीं
romance?
है.
Can you see the romance for chai?
Yeah, so that is what makes tea as comes in.
ओके, अच्छा बताएं
Yeah.
अपने एंथुजियाज्म की। देखो, ये तो हमें पता चल गया, सबको पता चल गया है, सिर्फ एक शब्द कमसिन सुनने से हाउ डीप योर लव फॉर चाय इज। सो टेल
Yeah,
अस,
I
हाउ
can.
डिड यू डेवलप इट एंड व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आर यू डूइंग अबाउट इट, बिकॉज यू आर एक्चुअली रनिंग एन एंटरप्राइज, द होल थिंग अबाउट चाय। प्लीज शेयर विद अस।
Yes, that came off as that popped off just before COVID. I was planning to open a tea tasting school.
वाओ।
But then COVID happened and it went to back burner.
हम्म।
Then eventually we started off with a brand of selling teas,
हम्म।
bringing exquisite teas which people usually do not take consume in
व्हाट
India.
इज इट कॉल्ड? व्हाट इज इट कॉल्ड?
I mean, the brand, are you asking?
या,
Okay, so that is Fiture Chai.
सी गाइस,
So that becomes the Fitur. Yeah,
कैन यू सी
the
द लव?
passion, the Fitur. Yeah, that's how it is. So my wife, she calls me a chayakkar. I can have tea at any given point of time,
Interesting.
any hour of the day. So for me, chai piyoge is not a question. That is not to be asked. You should never ask chai piyoge. So it is chai
चाय ले
ready hai.
आओ,
Chai ban gayi hai.
चाय ले
Chai
आओ।
ban gayi hai. Chai ban gayi hai. Chai ban gayi hai. That's it.
Nice.
So yes, that has been one part of my passion,
So how has
which
this
I
passion turned into an enterprise? वो बताएं।
uh, So the idea still, I'm still, connected with the idea of, you know, opening a tea tasting school.
All right.
Still there. And
Uh-huh.
so when we started this on this particular brand of ours, we realized that people are not at all aware of what kind of teas we are drinking. We are drinking anything and everything in the name of, whether it is called branded or tagged with the fancy keyword organic, or whether it is handmade or whatever you may think of, all those fancy names, and we are getting the worst of the grades when it comes to what we are drinking. So whatever goes in our tea bags is actually 90% of the tea bags, they are filled with tea dust, which is just the leftover of the teas once they are processed. And imagine something which is leftover, would it have that kind of nutrients what an original tea leaf would have? And we expect those tea bags or those kind of teas to work good, to do good with our health, which is not going to happen. So that is where the awareness, the lack of awareness is there in the country. If you go to West, they always prefer whole leaf teas.
Right. True, true, true.
If you go to Darjeeling, if you go to Munnar, if you go to Ceylon, they would give you the teas which are the leaves are this long,
Saurabh,
right?
I can see empathy in you even when you're talking about Fiture chai. I mean, what bothers you is that people don't know the kind of chai, the tea they're drinking.
It's
Whether,
unfortunate.
yeah,
We are
I can
spending
see.
money, we are expecting things to work good for us without even knowing what we are taking, what we are
Absolutely. I can
consuming.
see your empathy flowing out even here. I mean, that's such a, you have such a beautiful intention even behind your tea enthusiasm.
Yes, that's where it comes from. That is where the fitur comes from, I would say.
Oh, I mean, please keep on going with this fitur. We are all with you. I mean, it's beautiful.
Thank you, Vasudha.
Beautiful. अच्छा, now because you're talking about empathy, मैं empathy से ये question पूछना चाह रही हूँ आपसे. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
आपको क्या लगता है एक leadership journey में, I mean, how important is it being empathetic, to have this empathy, to actually be able to lead well? Do you think it makes a difference to be empathetic? Because, I,
absolutely.
someone had gone for a training, and one of the guys, he told me this. He said, ma'am, अगर हम इतना empathy रखेंगे तो लोगों से काम कैसे कराएंगे? I actually cut them off, and I was little taken aback when I heard that. But then I said what I had to say, but I want to today here, because मैं देख पा रही हूँ कि empathy is something which is very integral to everything that you are doing. So I want to know, what do you think about this? Is it something leaders need to kind of cut off their life, or is it something which helps them upgrade their role and as a leader?
I would take a step back here from the leader to a basic, quality of a human being.
All right, tell me.
Empathy has to be a
Right.
basic quality of any and every good human being. Unless you are able
Absolutely.
to put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're talking to, how can you expect to be a good leader,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, have you seen? I'm sure you would have seen that video clip wherein Mr. Tata has gone to a very old colleague of his when he was traveling through that through a particular town, and he goes and meets him. Isn't that empathy?
It is.
That colleague had served long time back. That's what I can recall. It is
Hmm.
about touching. It is about touching, the lives of other people, the lives of people whom you are. See, why I was able to recollect or recall an incident which was like 15 years, 16 years, or my leaders who have left an imprint on whatever my personality is now, right? It is just because they were empathetic. They understood.
Right.
So forget about a leader. I would say it's a basic quality that every individual should possess.
Would you like to tell someone who says कि अगर empathy होगा तो हम काम कैसे करेंगे? What would you like to
तो
tell them?
फिर आप रोबोज रख लो, आप इंसानों से काम मत करवाओ, फिर आप मशीनों से काम करवाओ. एंड देन
I
ऑन टॉप
hope.
ऑफ इट, डू नॉट एक्सपेक्ट एनीथिंग आउट ऑफ योर टीम. देन वो फिर आपको बस
Hmm.
वो सिर्फ बॉस की तरह समझेंगे. दे विल नॉट, डोंट एक्सपेक्ट देम टू स्टैंड व्हेन यू नीड देम.
Yeah, don't expect them to love you and respect
यस,
you and know your
एब्सोल्युटली,
worth. And if you don't see worth in others, how are they going to see it in you?
एब्सोल्युटली.
Right. It's like you get what you give.
Yes, absolutely, you get what you get.
Right. That was deep. Okay. On that note, Saurabh, as we kind of come to the end of this podcast, this is my favorite question. I ask everyone.
Uh-huh.
This one question I ask everyone towards the end. So, as you reflect on your leadership journey, what do you think makes you the great leader? Or, okay, I know, like a lot of other people, you're gonna say, Vasudha, I'm yet to be there and all that. So, as you reflect on your leadership journey, what do you think has been your greatest achievement? That's something we can definitely talk till date. I'm sure you are headed for greater achievements in life.
Till now, I would say, uh, most of the team members who have worked with me or whom I
Mm-hmm.
have gotten a chance to nurture directly,
Mm-hmm.
indirectly,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the biggest compliment I have gotten is, when we were working with you, we have not got that atmosphere ever again in our corporate
Wow.
lives.
Wow.
I
Wow.
think, and that touches me always. That always touches me.
I am sure by listening to you today, I am sure anyone would say that.
Yeah. So that is
Ach-
that is what I feel blessed to have such people in my life who feel that I made, slightest of change or improvement or, whatever, as they may think of, any impression which help them grow. If I was able to help a single person grow, then I think I have achieved. Yeah.
Okay. So one more question. I can't help asking you this question after hearing your answer. What
Mm-hmm.
exactly? Okay. What exactly भी नहीं बोलते. आपकी क्या strategy है? What exactly is your strategy to maintain this kind of balance between your mental and emotional health? Because I feel it's not just about physical health. If you ask me, I lay a lot of premium on mental and emotional health. तो आप ये balance कैसे maintain करते हो? I can see you are so balanced. What role is self awareness playing in this balance? और मुझे भी और audience को भी please बताएं आपकी strategy क्या है?
Ah, focus. Focus on your goals,
All right.
right? And pick up, it's not bad to see the negative things. It's not
Hmm.
bad to be in the company of people who, for example, I do not smoke,
Hmm.
right? And I do not take liquor also. I'm a,
Hmm.
teetotaler.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean, and most of my friends are, they smoke and they drink as well.
Hmm.
Now, despite being in their company, I am trying to find out, the goodness, so to say,
Wow.
that I should not be doing that. I'm not asking them to quit their smoking or their drinking. But
Great.
what I am learning is I should not be doing it. So find out the positives in every negative that you see around.
That's amazing.
That
I
would
think,
automatically keep you balanced.
yeah, absolutely. You will not so easily drown into the negativity then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the key is always to keep floating.
Yes, तैरते रहो. So my better half, she always
Huh?
tells me whenever we are in a tough situation, she
Right.
always says this from, she has picked this up from the movie Nemo, right? Finding Nemo.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
There is a phrase wherein the I think one of the characters, they
Hmm.
it says "तैरते रहो बस तैरते रहो." So she has
Nice.
picked it up from there, and she always tells me, like you said, keep floating, stay
Right.
afloat. She always says whenever we are in a tough situation, "तैरते रहो बस
Fair,
तैरते
fair.
रहो."
Wow,
That is
that's so
where that is she being one of my the biggest strength, and she always gives me this mantra "तैरते रहो."
beautiful. Really beautiful. On that note, Saurabh, I'm like wishing that you keep not just floating, you keep swimming even against the
Thank you.
currents and achieve even greater heights, and not just for you, for others also, for the incredible leader, and more than that, the human being that you are. uh, like truly it was an absolute honor to hold this conversation with you today. I personally learned a lot, and I am sure it is also going to raise the awareness of lot of aspiring leaders out there. Uh, Thank you so much for being here. And I thank you not just from my side, I am also thanking you on the behalf of our community, Reboot. So thank you so much, Saurabh. Keep shining.
Thank you, Vasudha. And it was equally pleasure for me to be on this conversation, this podcast. Why don't you explain a bit about Reboot when we are coming towards the closure of this discussion? Why don't you throw some light about Reboot? Let us ask you and give you an opportunity to explain about Reboot, what you are trying to achieve, what is it that we are looking at, and
So basically,
just
Saurabh,
just probably 5 minutes, and you can explain.
basically, okay, I'll take only 30 seconds, not more than that. So basically,
So that's
Saurabh,
that's wrong.
reboot, as the name suggests, it means booting life again, right? And I feel booting is easier and simpler when you are being led by an effective person. So, Reboot is basically a community of leaders first, and of course, aspiring leaders are also a part of our community and always welcome. So, the idea is to, as you said, to stay afloat in life, and it's not possible if you don't have the right people. Sometimes nobody has to come tell you what to do. Sometimes by just looking at the right people is enough to help you get across whatever it is that you are going through. So, Reboot is an attempt to create that safe place, that community. And it is a community of leaders who are committed to help people get on the other side. So, that's all
Wonderful
Reboot.
initiative. Wonderful initiative, Vasudha. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to having you as a part of this community.
Already a part of yours initiative, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank
All the
you
best.
so much for your best wishes and your support. It really means a lot, not just to me, but to Reboot.
All the best. All the best, Vasudha.
Yeah. Thank you, Saurav. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.